Hello, Leo.
Hi, TJ. How you doing?
Good. Leo's my good buddy, my good friend. I think I was just telling you, like, I have this YouTube channel where I put like millions of dollars worth of information about video, nerd stuff, and workflows and corporate stuff, and it doesn't get as much traction as really bad personal stuff. So, welcome to TJ's table.
Right. Yay.
Make your bad videos.
A nice table.
It's
a little cluttered right now, but it's okay.
A little cluttered, a little destroyed.
This is real life.
We hang out like once a week, but you were saying, when did this idea come up that we would sit here and record?
The idea came up a few weeks ago. I think you had
You gotta do like a little. You gotta get it closer to your face.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got it.
Do you want an arm?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I got an arm. Sorry.
Wait.
No, we got a sound effect for that. Where's the crickets? Appropriate.
Oops, no, I wanted the. Those come with the mixer. I don't know who's buying this thing. It was like $700.
I'd imagine it's used often. Anyway, I think we came up with the idea. I remember you had this all set up. You were doing something, probably with your kids.
At Christmas, I got the kids to tell their whole Christmas story and what they got for Christmas and everything, and I put it on YouTube. I called it Luke and Sammy Christmas Spectacular.
That's right.
Or the Christmas Special or something.
It's fantastic.
It's pretty good. And I had a light. That's why there's no light fixture in the ceiling. And so
that's right. You had like some thing.
I had
down.
And it got in the way of my lantern on a C-stand.
Yeah.
So I ripped out the light fixture. Now there's like live wires.
It's way up there.
It's okay.
The kids can't get it.
I don't think so.
Yet.
Yeah. Anyway, this could be just good home movies. Like, I bet like if we're still friends 10, 20 years from now, we look back and this would be really funny.
Right? It will be.
Yeah.
It already is.
Yeah.
Got a chance to use the crickets? All right.
I've actually never recorded those yet. Like every time I show someone the mixer, I'll be like, and I've never used it.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? What do you want to talk about?
No. We talk about my running.
Let's talk about your running.
Okay. Start from the beginning.
Sure.
Okay. I think I was going through a time in my life when my wife at the time, she's separated from me. And I was very, very distraught about what to do with that. And I seemed to think that if I could get healthy, that she would want me again.
Oh.
and about the same time, the office that I work at, they handed out these pedometers, like those step counting things. So it was before Fitbits. So it was just like kind of like this thing clipped to your belt, and they count your steps for the day. I remember I was like, well, I'm going to get 7,000 steps every day. So I started out just walking around my neighborhood. And at the time, it was like early March in, the Midwest. So it was pretty cold and dreary. But I would just walk around just to get out of the house because, it reminded me of my ex. And I didn't really know what else to do. And I remembered like when I was walking one day, some guy just ran right past me. Like ran up this seemingly impossible hill to walk up of even. And I just thought, wow, that's pretty amazing. I can't believe that guy's doing it. So that's when I kind of started just thinking about running. And it started with, I'd go out on my walks, be severely overdressed for it. And I would trot around for a little bit until I got tired. And then I would stop and I would walk. I would count 100 steps. And then I'd run again. And sometimes I would run, maybe 100 meters, maybe 5 feet before I had to stop and walk the 100 steps again. And eventually that just kind of added up to me doing a full 3 miles without stopping. That was probably about, I want to say that was about April or May when I got to that point. But then I got that. I'm like, wow, I ran pretty much a 5K. I'm going to sign up for one. And I did. And it was funny because the 5K was in August. and it was actually in a cemetery, which was really weird. I don't know why.
Laps around a cemetery?
It was it's in Cleveland. It's a historical cemetery. I think it's called like Lakeview or Lakeside or something. But the big deal is like there's some president that was buried there. I forget who, but like a lot of
Grover Cleveland?
that maybe it was him. It just seems a little ironic that would be Grover Cleveland.
Is he from
in
Cleveland?
I don't think so, but I don't know. But anyway, it was like a kind of cemetery where they have like the big angel statues and like the real like gothic-y looking tombstones, not like the typical like
Historic.
flat kind of stuff you see every day. Like it was very historic, and I mean it's really a cool place, but it's it was weird. Run my first race in the cemetery. I always think about that.
In August.
In August, yeah. But it was nice. I finished. I was amazed I finished. I actually finished second in my age group. But I mean, I was pretty slow. I just guess a lot of people don't really want to run in the cemetery, so the field was a little light.
Are you sure there were people running with you, or were they?
I don't know. Maybe they were ghosts.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Maybe it never happened.
You may have won the race.
Maybe I'm dead.
Could have been alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'm dead. Maybe this is a simulation.
This is it. This is purgatory. TJ's table.
I didn't know. You know what I really exactly. Yeah, you're definitely screwed now. This is the car wash, spiritual car wash.
That's right.
Okay. So I just got to say, first of all, that was a nicely told story, and we've talked a lot about running. You got me into this stuff. We'll cover that. I mean, I've run before, but like you really kind of got me into it when you started talking about running 100 miles,
Right.
As in one race, as in ultra running.
Yes, 100.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think there's something unexpected for me. I'll just put it that way. By turning this thing on and getting the mics out, I didn't expect you to like tell me something I hadn't heard before.
Oh, okay.
It was great.
Well, I keep stories in reserve.
I guess so.
For
I think we should just talk like this. Like if, no matter what we're doing, like I should like bring this to the coffee shop. Be like, what's up?
Exactly. You're set up.
This is how we talk.
We'll get some attention.
I've had that, yeah, exactly. I had that same kind of thing happen with my kids actually. So I think I should start wondering, or using this tool
Right.
more.
Right.
Because it's, I mean, what my usual, when you do like corporate interviews, it's usually a net negative. Like you turn on the cameras and lights, whatever, and like someone has to sort of get warmed up for 15 minutes or something before they start talking like a human. So you can get some good moments and get a good video about some topic.
Right.
There's something about longer form conversational that it happens faster, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is my first experience with it, so.
Yeah. Well,
seems like it's going okay.
You're semi-gifted, my friend. I'm not surprised. Let me reframe that shot so we can like cut to you.
Yeah, no problem.
I feel like Brene Brown says, unused creativity is not benign, as in it will eat you, not just like.
Oh, I see.
And I do seem to. I have people in my life who like fall. Like I'm like that. Almost everybody I know is some version of that. Like it's one of my favorite things to ask someone that I don't know very, very well, or even if actually it's just one of my favorite things to ask somebody. Like, what do you do? What kind of art do you make? Whatever.
Yeah.
Almost everybody says, well.
Yeah.
I used to play guitar. Well.
Do you think everybody's inherently creative?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think people think they are or aren't. But it's a skill like anything else, and it's a basic human thing.
Well, it's almost godlike.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, to create is to create, I guess.
That's right out of like Rick Rubin and all his books. And,
that's where I probably heard something like that.
Yeah, he's like, he kind of has this thing where he talks about going on a journey from, he's a music producer, but helping artists at first, like, don't think about the audience. Don't try to make something that'll sell, make something true to you. But he's like, I think what he's saying is over the course of decades, he gets to the point where he realizes it was all a devotional act, is what he says. As in it was all really for God. And that's how you make good anything.
Right.
But anyhow, so now I really want to know more about the running story. So the genesis of it was like, sounds like you weren't in very good shape.
No, I was in bad shape. And I think that, in a way, everybody kind of has their own journey into running. Running's very, I was never into sports when I was not a jock. I spent most of my high school and college career, drinking and getting high, doing that thing. not that I wasn't having fun at the time with it, but that was just what I was doing. I wasn't very focused on physical fitness or the body as a temple kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think with running for me, I was going through a hard time with the divorce, with the separation, and then leading up to the divorce. That I just kind of really wanted to hurt myself, and it wasn't necessarily like a suicidal kind of thing. It was more like, well, I'm just going to run myself into the ground, And I'm not saying that's a healthy way to get started into this sport, but like I think I needed a certain degree of like self harm to kind of get into running because it hurts. It's not fun, especially at the beginning. It's not. It takes a while to kind of get hooked on it, and my running, it let me get out like that. I just felt like pent up with like so much dismay and like, oh, is it me that screwed this marriage up? And why am I stuck like this? Why can't things go back? And like when I was out there running, it would just like all I would focus on was probably similar with people who probably hurt themselves, but like I could just focus on only the pain of running. But eventually, that pain subsided, and it turned into, after every time I finished a run, I would feel better about myself, and it kind of like almost went inside out, and then like I would go out there and I would fight, the pain of the training or whatever was coming up, or just a simple run, and I would see things like, the beauty of outside. One thing I really noticed when I started running is that I got a full respect of my little neighborhood I lived in. Like I was seeing it like I never saw it before. Like, okay, there's a hill over there, and oh, this person has this black and white dog, and it really hates my guts, and you would start, and I ran at the same time every day, so I would see like the routine of people leaving their houses to go to work, or coming home, or letting their dogs out, or getting their kids off to school, and it gave me an idea of just like the heartbeat of like a neighborhood, just because I'm simply observing it, running around it, same kind of route every day. But then all of a sudden, I felt like I was becoming a part of something. And like, I don't know if you want to call it nature, the world, but like I was just a part of the neighborhood. Like they're probably seeing me like, oh, here's that guy running every morning too. So it's like, I just felt a little bit more integrated because I was very isolated. Because I was very deep into alcohol at the time when I started running, and smoking marijuana and all that kind of stuff. And when I had to come out and actually run, I felt like I was part of the world again. So that fed into it as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you hit the woods?
Not till I moved out here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, when I was in Cleveland, there's not really much to do as far as the woods go. There's just not. There's not wilderness like there is out here in Colorado. There isn't like that wide open space. Got it. But anyway, yeah, there's, in Cleveland, it's just roads. So I would do the roads, and towards the end of it, I wanted to increase my distance, and I went to a bachelor party for my friend, and there was a guy there who ran triathlons. And I was all interested in him because like triathlon sounded like absolutely crazy. And he would run a lot of miles. He was telling me how he did the Disney marathon. Wow, 26 miles. That's pretty intense. Because I've only run 6, maybe at the most of the time. And I challenged him like, okay, because he lived in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 10 miles and you do 10 miles and we'll see who comes out fastest. And so I trained for this 10 miles. So I wanted to beat this guy. And then, it got to the day when it was scheduled and he didn't feel like doing it anymore, but I ran it myself, and I ran 10 miles a day. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, if I did 10 miles, I could do a half marathon. So I did my half marathon, and then I'm like, oh, I did a half marathon. Let's try a marathon. And I was doing marathons until the point I moved out to Colorado, and then I came out here, and I was kind of doing the road thing, but like COVID hit, and it was just like, okay, I'm kind of sick of this. And when COVID let up, I'm like, well, let's find. I need to do a race because it was been like a year, and I just needed to get back into the community. And the only one available was a race out in Fairplay. That was yeah, it was a half marathon in Fairplay, and I'm just used to roads.
So Fairplay. Yeah. Let me see if I got this right. You leave Denver, you head west over the mountains. You kind of go over, I don't know, the foothills,
right?
And then you kind of like an hour later, you kind of come over this
Yeah, you go over the Continental Divide.
And then you look down and you see this basin.
Right.
And then Fairplay is kind of like
up on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they call it the mosquito range. I'm not positive. There are a lot of mosquitoes over there, though. Maybe that's why.
Oh.
It's like in the few places in Colorado you actually get attacked by the bugs.
Did I tell you what? Last year at 11 Mile Reservoir.
Yeah.
One time anyway. It's bad.
Same time. Yeah. It happens. There's places, not many.
That's actually I think that's the south side of that valley.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know.
Yeah, in Fairplay in the races in the mountains?
The races, it's into the mountains. It starts in Fairplay, which is like a little town. And it runs up into like these mountains. And it was just a half marathon. So I'm kind of like just running over a ridge. And then I'm coming back. But it was my first experience with like a trail race. And I remember running it. And like I'm running it like it's a road race, right? Like, I'm exhausted. Like, this is intense. I didn't take because I think the elevation is like 9,000, 10,000 feet out there. So I wasn't really taking that into account. And it was the first time I ran a race where I had to stop and walk for a little while. And I was like, oh, this is devastating. You know, like, what am I doing? I remember my ego was very wrapped up in it. Like, how can I stop and walk? You loser, you know, what are you doing? But like other people were stopping and walking. And I started running again, and like I noticed a weird thing. Like it was just like the vibe of the people was a little bit different. Like they were like runners were like talking to each other while they were running about stuff. Like not necessarily like what their split is or like how fast they're going or what shoes they have. They're just talking about life, like their the last date they went on or what's their favorite food. It was very more laid back. I mean, the course was extremely more difficult and technical than anything that I ever experienced on the roads. But everybody it was just a sense of everybody was just kind of laid back. And then I go over this. It was an out and back, so I go over this ridge, and it's about 7.5 miles into the race. And there's an aid station, and I'd never seen an aid station before. I'm like, well, what is this? And they're like serving tacos.
Wait a sec. So when I did like only done one marathon.
Yeah.
It was, little cups of water. And
right. That's why I usually was used to.
The coach would give us these gels.
Yeah.
And whatever. But so you're saying an aid station in an ultra or the ultra community, because this is a half marathon, but it's in the mountains.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about like the crunchier, kind of like the guys with the beards.
Yeah, that's exactly like dirt bags, you know?
Yeah. And like, well, I'm sorry, they're dirt bags.
I've heard it said that they're like the dirt bags of the endurance world. These trail ultra marathoners.
That's really funny. But then I can't wait to, spoiler alert, like Leo got me to sign up for one. And,
yeah, right.
And
you're getting there.
We'll see if I get there. I think so. I'll walk the damn thing if I have to.
Right. It's allowed. Miles a mile.
Yeah. And it's 12 hours. It's gonna be fun. But the when you the aid stations, I heard tacos.
Yeah, they were serving tacos. I think I thought they were tacos. Maybe they're like wraps of something. I don't know. Like you got to come in there, and since this is a trail race, also out in the mountains, like I was so used to having like on your bibs, there's like usually in a road race, there's like a microchip and it like tracks you and knows where you're at and everything. But I had to check in with the person at the aid station to let them know like, hey, here's my bid number. I'm alive. I'm turning around again. And when I did that, I thought it was going to be like having the road race kind of mentality. Like I'm going to check in as fast as I can. I'm going to get the hell out of here, and get to the finish. But then I noticed other runners were like checking in, and they were, walking over to the aid station table and eating tacos and filling up their water bottles and talking to the other runners. And I remember thinking like, what the hell are these people doing? Don't they know this is a race? So I got out of there, and I didn't pick up any food. I didn't refill any of my water bottles. I think I had like 8 ounces of water on me the whole time, which is kind of ridiculous. I can't believe it.
For a half marathon.
Because
you're in the woods, so there's no water.
I mean, 8 ounces would have been enough for me on the road,
But there's no
water, and it's higher elevation.
And 6 miles back.
Yeah, it's 6 miles back.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm running back, and remember I got to the ridge that I came over to get to the aid station. I had to walk up that ridge, another like ego deflating moment. But then I was like going back down the ridge, and like this guy, I had like these, I don't know if you ever seen like these cheapo like cotton gloves Like their magic gloves are just like kind of like socks for like your hands, really. And I had like these weird colors because I got them from a thrift store, and it's just like kind of like my throwaway sock or throwaway gloves for like when I'm running in case I don't like them anymore or I lose them or anything. But I'm running down, I'm like miserable, and this guy comes by, he's like, "Hey, I really like your gloves, man." I'm like, thanks. Just like, it's a whole different thing. And I eventually got to the end. I think I finished 4th in my age group.
So you didn't know what you were getting into?
No, I had no idea what it was like. I thought it was just I thought running was running,
But okay, so you're running the first half.
Yeah.
There's people walking and talking maybe, but you get to the aid station, you do see that people are having the tacos and doing something you're not expecting.
Yeah.
But you're still not.
I'm still not in that mindset. I'm like, this is my chance to take advantage and beat these people. But like, the joke's on me because I really had a miserable time, right?
Yeah. So I guess finish it. So even that's really cute. So you had the gloves on. You thought they were not good looking, or
I thought they were just
not worth remarking upon.
No, but he thought this guy thought it was really funny. I'm like, leave me alone, man.
You thought he was making fun of you?
Well, I didn't know if I entertained it, but like I'm just like, okay, hey, yeah, they are, got them at Goodwill, they come in handy. I thought that was going to be the end of it. Like, okay, let me get back to running. That's why I'm here. Don't they know this is a race? But this guy kept on. He was dogging me the whole time. Like he was just cheerfully like, hey, we played leapfrog, kind of go back and forth. He'd pass me and then I'd pass him, and he'd always want to like chit chat a little bit during the passing. And I'm like, I didn't want chit chat, I'm running.
Was the trail wide enough to be?
Yeah, the thing is that towards the end of it, the last 4 miles or 5 miles, it's just like a dirt road. So you got all the space in the world to line up against each other and chit chat and talk. But I didn't want to talk because I didn't know that was an aspect of trail running. Like it's much more community focused than road running, and I think that's the real reason to get out there and do it. Personally, if you're looking into trail or ultra marathon on a trail, it's more like, yeah, just a bunch of people going out in the mountains or out in the wilderness and having fun. But, in my first one, I didn't take advantage of that, and I didn't have fun. It was a hard race, and it was very technical. I couldn't go as fast as I wanted to. I had to walk, and it was just all these things that I didn't achieve, and I missed out on the whole truth of trail running, which is just like the community. And
well, it sounds like in the moment it didn't quite like instantly change your perspective, but you're in the middle of the race, you get to the end of the race, I'm guessing you still didn't sort of like stop at wherever they had pancakes, or maybe they were making, what were they making? If they were making tacos at the
I forget what because I just kind of glanced at it.
Bacon.
I would imagine. No, I've done a couple more races.
Oh, sorry.
With this series and
vegan treats.
Yeah, no, not really vegan treats. I mean, the guy who is the race director for this series, he's from New England, and his heart's in the right place, but he's a little bit abrasive too. So it's basically like I heard in the race what is it, like the race preview video he had, like, yeah, if you're vegan, you gotta bring your own food. But I'm like thinking, like, who cares anyway? It's only 13 miles. I'm not going to bring any food.
You're not expecting an event.
I'm not expecting an event like this. I'm not expecting because I'm just coming out of COVID. Like, I'm just itching for a race, and this just happened to be the one that was happening next.
What I'm really enjoying is the first of all, it wasn't useless. You didn't, because you're now it is very useful to you, and it took you to that. You did sort of like join that community.
Yeah.
So it's really just more like beginner's luck / trauma.
Right.
Just kind of being like feeling a little left out and wondering what the fuck's going on.
Well, I mean, I finished well.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not I missed the whole point of it.
Yeah.
It's not about where you finish on this thing. Unless you're like an elite, which I never will be, and nor do I want to be, but like, of course I finished well. I mean, a majority of the people sat at the aid station were relaxing and having a good time while I was out there being miserable trying to run up this hill, So
people were milling about at the end.
Yeah, just milling about, and people were coming in, and like I remember, like the race director would sit out there, and he would like greet every person that came in. And it was like because like I'm used to like the big production of like road marathons.
Oh,
where
with the
it's
big
like,
banner and the clock.
like the clock, the big finished corral. Like this dude, he just had like the balloon arch, and there's your car over there. So it's just like they would sit and he would like talk to these people, and like the volunteers would like ask how they're doing, and more conversation that I wasn't expecting because like I'm so used to like me versus them kind of mentality. And it's still in the road races, and I still do road races and still there, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, I've got one coming up in a couple months, and that's how it is.
May, right? In Denver in May.
In Denver in May, yeah. And I like the road marathon still. I'm not bashing them. It's just different than being on the trail. It's more of like, hey, so if I see somebody, like I was taught, like if you see somebody on the ground, even if they're tying their shoelace, you stop them on the trail, and you be like, hey, are you all right? Do you need anything? Or do you have enough water? Do you have enough food? And most of the time people are like, yeah, I'm fine. Go ahead. I'm like, okay, we'll see you later. But the thing is, and then all of a sudden, like I'm interacting with somebody, like I know people. And especially in the ultras, we were out there for so long. Like you just fall into like a groove with certain people because eventually, the field evens out, and you make friends with people you never really learn their names. You just kind of know their bib number, and you're hanging out with them for the next few hours, just trying to get through this thing. But it makes it a lot easier. You may not be faster, but it's a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this whole conversation because, so we became closer friends maybe a few months ago. We started talking about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had run one traditional marathon. I had heard of ultramarathons, kind of thought they were interesting from afar. And then there's this one coming up in July that's from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in a full moon and the whole thing.
Right.
And I just like, for novelty's sake, if nothing else, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that,
Right.
But now that you're describing how it is, that's actually going to be a little challenging for me too. I'm not that much of a joiner. Like in kindergarten or nursery school, whatever, I like stood on the side of the room for like a year,
Right,
and the nuns were like, he'll be okay. I would have been institutionalized today, I think.
Yeah.
But like I was like just not gonna sit with the kids.
No, I'm the same way. I mean, I hate to call it introverted, but
yeah.
I think there's kind of like a wide range on that.
Yeah, but like talking to people on the trail, or like I don't know, just like that very quick sense of all togetherness and community,
Right.
and
Right.
it sounds good. It just sounds like I mean, I haven't run many races at all. It sounds good. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm picturing me doing it and wondering if I would chat with people while I'm running at 4 a.m. with a headlamp on, out of my mind.
Yeah. You may not have a choice. They may start chatting with you like Mr. Gloves guy did with me.
Yeah. No, it sounds like they will, because there's hundreds of people and it's a little 10-mile loop, right?
Exactly. You're going to see a lot of people.
Yeah. So, and I think it's a growth
it is
moment for me.
It is.
Yeah.
So what did you think ultramarathoning was when you first heard it?
I think more solo.
Okay.
I guess maybe just people not bumping into each other because of the distances or something. And then maybe just, I would think more like courtesy, like waving.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, definitely still maybe still people focusing on time, even though the whole thing is just to endure. Stopping in the middle to like hang out and have tacos, like that's to me considerably more interesting than like water station.
Right. Right.
Like that is well beyond like a clock and the chip in the shoe or whatever.
Yeah.
The bib.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was expecting. Like, okay, there's going to be people handing out water with their arms out, take it and go as quick as you can. But like, no, what are they doing? They're cooking.
I mean, just in like the little training schedule that you've, we should get into that too, about how you've decided to get into coaching, and you've helped me as I'm sort of like one of your early clientele. The runs I've done like on the trails, they remind me of being a kid. Like I used to run around these soccer fields when I was a kid, or like a little bit on trails, but I feel like I could run for hours on these, on trails.
Right.
And
well, you've done a little bit of trail running in your training.
Yeah, a little bit. And when I do like 45 minutes or something,
Yeah.
it feels like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Because I do stop and walk and whatever. But when I was marathon training with the team and training team,
Right.
where it was like intervals, like 4 minutes, I think it was 4 and 1 or
Yeah.
4 minutes of running, 1 minute, when there are 10 of us and we kind of like, it's all pavement. And
Right.
like that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
nowhere near as fun as being on the dirt.
No.
Like there's just something.
It's just different. Like I always say, like trail running's more like hiking as fast as you can, as opposed to running. And I think that's the best way for me to kind of describe how my experience is with it. I mean, granted, there's people out there who will run the whole thing. There are people who are gifted on the trails and can just crush it. But like that's not why. I mean, I tried going in with that mentality, and that's not why I started. That's not why I stuck around. I mean, if I want to go in with that, I'll just sign up for a road marathon like I'm doing. And but in the end, sometime this year, I'm going to do another ultra in the mountains. So I'll be right back into where I'm comfortable. And it's just something about being with nature. Kind of goes back to how when I started running and I explained like the neighborhood. Like when you're ultra running, like you get in the mountains, at least out here, or any wilderness that probably anybody experiences, like being in it, like every tree root, every rock, every hill, every stream, like you have to experience that in a way that's not just like, oh, look how pretty that is. Like, you're probably got to run through that fucker. Like it's like, oh yeah.
Whoa, like a river?
Yeah. My first 50 miler had 3 river crossings. Now yours won't because there's no rivers out there, but you just got to go through it. Some people actually run through the things, and I think that's a little crazy, but like,
well, how'd you do it?
Well, I mean, getting ahead of the story here, like my coach, just said like, just wade through it. And if you're hot, have a seat in the river for a little bit.
Oh, you mean how fast they would go through the water?
Yeah. Some people would just dart right through the water, and like, I would wade it. And,
what?
Yeah. And
you have to run with wet shoes?
Yeah. I mean, you get socks. You go to the running store, you find good. I have like dry max socks. I mean, it's different for everybody. Everybody's got like their own kind of thing, but like.
What about the shoes?
Just find a shoe with a lot of drainage.
What?
Most shoes have like a mesh, and it's a little soggy for a little bit, but that's the advantage of also living in Colorado. That shoes dry pretty quick out here, especially if it's hot. Maybe in the more humid areas, it might be more of a problem because nothing really dries in humid areas.
I had no idea you crossed rivers.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
Colorado rivers. It's not like it's the Mississippi out there. I mean, other places would probably call it like a creek, but I'm getting wet up to my knees.
Any rock formations you have to like, crawl around?
There's like, river stones in the bottom, that kind of thing. And, do your best not to roll your ankle because you can't really see because your feet are in the water, especially if it's kind of muddy. That's part of the reason why I take my time going through it. But, it was fun.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's just like I would never experience that. Like I'd be like, okay, the trail goes into the river, I'm turning around, But like, no, that's not how it was in trail. Trail and ultra running, you're going through that thing. It's part of the obstacle. So,
do you want to share a little bit about when you considered coaching other people, or when did that happen?
Well,
or did I?
Yeah, I can. Well, first of all, like I'll get in. Like I had to learn what having a coach was like.
Oh, you had a coach.
I got a coach because like this is shortly after I did that trail half, and I was really, really interested in doing my first ultra marathon, which was a 50 miler in like a park. It's kind of in Lakewood out here in Colorado. So I would start training for it myself, and I would just like run. And I remember like every Sunday I would have like a long run, and that would be anywhere from like 17 to 26 miles would be my run. And excuse me, I gotta switch fan.
Every week?
Yeah, every week. And my partner at the time, Marcy, she would kind of discourage me from it because like I would come home completely bonked out, which is like basically like I didn't have enough nutrition or water, and like I'm shaking and I'm puking and I'm sick. And like she pretty much said like, she said it nicely, but I got the hint like you're going to get a coach or that's it. Because I didn't get a coach to learn how to really run longer or farther. I got a coach to teach me when not to run, because I would just, I'm an addict. So like I would just run and run some more and run some more, because that's how you got better, right? But then my coach is like, you got to slow down. And he gave me like off days, which is a very weird concept. Like days where I just don't do anything. And he told me like I'm not supposed to do anything. Because I've had off days before I got a coach, and that would be like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym that day and maybe walk 4 miles on the treadmill, like an incline. But I'm not running. But the thing is, what I learned about off days, like, yeah, that means like you're doing nothing. Like you're sitting on the couch and you're watching TV and you're eating food, which is completely counterproductive to what I was used to. Like you're telling me I'm going to sit on my ass and do nothing. So I learned that.
So that sounds like a parallel to the type of races.
Right.
Right. You had to
Right.
The coach changed your mind about what it even
He
means.
changed my mind about it. And then like I remember right when I got him, like a month later, I had a road marathon. And he only had me go out to like 18 miles for my training on that. And I thought that was ridiculous because like, how am I going to run 26 miles when I've only maxed out on 18? But it turns out, he was doing something right because I ran a personal record that marathon, and I was eating food. I was drinking water during it. Like all these things I kind of learned in trail, and I tried to, kind of blend it into the road. And I finished really well. I felt really good. So I was like, okay, this is a pretty cool thing. And then, it wasn't until, I did a few ultra marathons and I did the 100-miler that I wanted to kind of get into coaching, because I realized that when I was training for the 100-miler, anybody who interacted with me, whether I would never try to bring it up, but it would just kind of come up. Like, oh, so what do you do? What do you do in your spare time? Or blah, like, oh, damn, I'm training for this race. Oh, how long is it? And like, 100 miles. Like, wow, that immediately gets the normal people's attention very quickly. An ultra marathon, be like, oh, that's great, but like the everyday people out there, you say 100 miles and it's really hard to rep. I would get a lot of responses that like, I wouldn't drive 100 miles. It's like, yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, me neither, really. And
nice talking to you.
Yeah, so I was doing that, but the thing is, like, I noticed I was inspiring people. My wife's brother-in-law, like, he just went out and did a half marathon. Because I was kind of talking to him similar to how we're talking now about the trail. Like, I was just like, yeah, I just walk now when I feel like walking, and I eat when I feel like eating, and I run when I feel like running. And for some reason that clicked with him. And then he told me he did his first half marathon that way. And I mean, this is a dude. I mean, he's not young. I don't know if he's ever run anything like that before in his life, but he did it. He completed it. And I mean, it doesn't matter how fast he did it or how slow, but like he went out there and did it based on what I said. And I didn't realize I had that kind of impact on people. And another person when I was ready to sign up for this 50-miler, my first ultra marathon, I asked a guy to help pace me. And he would run like 6 miles here and there, and he paced me. And it was the first time he ran anything higher than 6 miles. And he's doing 2 marathons this year now. So like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I kind of stuck. Maybe I'll get into coaching. And I bounce it around like, yeah, that'd be a fun little fantasy. But like, I got a real job in the real world to worry about. And it wasn't until I came over and started talking to you that you mentioned it, like, why not? And I didn't have a good answer for why not. It wasn't, what's it going to hurt? So like I searched it online, and I thought I'd have to go back to college or something, but I saw a coaching program, and I got certified. I'm just a level 1 now, but it's about experience, and I'm starting this journey. I'm not trying to coach elites. I mean, I'm not trying to coach the person who wants to like be competitive necessarily. I mean, I'm open to it, but like, I want to help the people who just think running is like this impossible task they've always been kind of a little interested in it, but like don't know how to start it or don't think they can. Because, I started with a guy with a pedometer and on a bad streak. And then all of a sudden, here I am. I ran a 100-miler, and I'm doing a marathon in May. I'm probably doing a 50-miler in September in the mountains, and I'm trying to coach people. Like, I would have never expected that. And we're talking like 10, maybe 11 years, all that happened. That's crazy. It's all my 30s mostly, and it's not like that's even a barrier. Like, I've seen people do it even later in life. And it's running, similar like how you said about like just running around the soccer field, I think it's in with all of us. And we tend to forget, like, yeah, we're made to run and, or any sort of endurance. But it's just so easy today's day and age to just not do it, just like sit around and
Oh yeah.
not do it. But like once I think like having a coach gives you like that kind of incentive, like all of a sudden now I've got some skin in the game. I've got somebody instructing me. And now I feel like since my coach says I can do this on this date, there's no reason why I can't do it on this date. So it took a little bit of trust in that to get there. And I want to help other people do that as well. So here I am,
Yeah, I feel like so I'd only done one race before. There was this definite feeling of you know, the wall or whatever, your body says sit down.
Mhm.
And if you don't, it kind of changes you a little bit,
Right.
But you're describing, I think, a more robust. I think this is why I was really attracted. If you had said I'd run road marathons, I don't think I would have said I want to do another one of those.
Oh, no,
Really?
most people don't.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good experience, but I think it is more fun to just say, okay, well, 26.2 is kind of impossible, and I get and it was cool. It was a good experience.
Mhm.
I walked most of mine. I think I told you that because I had an injury.
Right.
It's kind of wild. It took like 8 hours. It was crazy.
Ouch.
Yeah, couldn't walk for days after that.
Mhm.
But the idea of doing 42 or whatever it's going to be if this July, the cultural stuff you're talking about, I'm planning on bringing my teardrop trailer. I can kind of picture like rolling up there.
Right.
You said you might generously crew me, whatever that means. I'll figure that out later.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
And just run around all night long with a headlamp with some people, just because. Why not?
Why not?
Like, it has a much more, I don't know, man, mountain goat instead of mountain lion feel.
Yeah.
Like, I just kind of want to like doot along. My sense is that it's one of these like things that makes everything else better. I'm always looking for like a 4-for-1 kind of investment thing like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, even just like committing to doing some training, I'm really looking forward to it. And I think, I feel certain actually that by the end of it, I will be changed in some way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is cool. And when the machines take over, what else are we going to do?
Right.
I feel like somebody should start a hedge fund that's like everything that is extreme, very, very human. Like whoever runs ultra races, and massage, human massage, like elements or whatever, and like art, and
it's all the things
music making, and
right,
piano construction,
and
the analog,
mm-hmm.
World. Anyway, that was a little bit of a side thing because that's what I do. But
it's fine.
I think, yeah, I don't know. There's something just really, really fun about the vision of even trying to do it, and it is fun. I enjoy saying it.
Right.
How many miles? It's like, and I'm not doing 100, and I know it's a 10.5 mile thing, and if I do 3, we'll kind of call it a,
I think 12 hours is baffling enough to most people, no matter what.
I'm like really.
I think that's half your day.
I'm really looking forward to like it's 5. Like I keep visioning it's 5:45 a.m. or something, and I'm like closing in on the 4th loop, getting it done, and then just being completely tore up from the floor up and having breakfast out there anyway. 7 a.m. in the summer. And, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, you just get to camp and
make some friends.
Beautiful Highlands Ranch for the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, bring it up. And, I envy you that you have the teardrop and such, because I have real problems sleeping in tents and stuff. But,
dude, you can borrow it anytime.
Yeah, I know.
I'd take my car with it because it comes with like a brake controller and stuff.
Of course. Yeah.
But I told you about the Sprinter van thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna liquidate my future. And we'll do that this year.
Yeah, go for it.
Why not?
Get mobile.
Yeah. Dude, guess how long do you think we've been talking?
I have no idea.
We guess?
Half hour.
45 minutes.
Oh wow. This thing goes pretty well.
Yeah, I was like, so Leo, like, this would be funny. We'll actually do a TJ's table,
Right.
and I thought maybe we'd talk for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't happen with us.
Yeah.
We got a 2-hour limit, right?
Yeah, we just eat for about 2 hours every week.
Burnout.
And they fall apart. My kids have been good too. They were going totally crazy until I just rolled the camera.
Yeah, you got some barbecue sauce to clean up though.
It's in the rug.
Yeah,
We're screwed.
It's already in it.
Well, thanks, Leo. This was really fun. I'll make some fun art. Maybe I'll make a little intro song.
Okay.
TJ's table. Do.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully we can get some more guests next week.
Let's get some more guests.
Mm-hmm.
I have a YouTube channel that's like, I'm just allowing myself to put whatever I want on there.
Yeah.
You know, kids stuff I find on YouTube. I find cool. Whatever. Home movies.
Right.
This. I made a review for my can opener. I'm making a couple bucks like affiliate marketing.
That's not bad.
I made like a decent video, I think.
You do unboxing?
No, I did a demonstration multicam.
Oh.
I love my can opener. I'll link to that below. I'm a fanatic about that. I do kind of like a Oprah's Greatest Things kind of thing at Christmas sometimes.
Yeah.
Like 1 year, I gave everybody the can opener. Another year, I gave everybody like these really, really nice nail clippers from Germany. They were like $30.
Yeah.
But they're like milled aluminum or something. I'll get you some.
That's amazing. Can openers and nail clippers.
That's the kind of guy I am.
Hey, it's very practical.
It is. Thank you very much for doing this. I know we usually just talk about this stuff anyway, but it was fun to do it.
It's fun. It's fun doing
record
microphones.
Till next time.
Till next time.